Welcome back! Now that we got our formal introductions out of the way, we can get into the real meat of things here in the Anime Live podcast. So the first event we have planned for everyone today is the Let's Talk section, I call. And it's where we're just going to be talking about a general news topic or issue or comment about how the anime community functions and the things within it. So today's topic is going to be, what do you think is the best gateway anime? And that doesn't necessarily mean the anime that you started with. That means, what do you think, in your personal opinion, is the best anime to introduce newcomers to this genre? There are many different kinds of anime. There's different types of genres and different types of styles even. And the most important thing to keep in mind is knowing exactly what the person you're trying to introduce is looking for. Like you already mentioned that you like Death Note a lot because you like the whole mystery aspect to it. So that's a good anime for them. But for this section, if we do not know exactly what that person is looking for, what is our general recommendation? Anime can be known for being quite over the top at times, and I think you would agree with that.
Yeah.
And it can be very radically different. So if you're trying to get someone into anime in general, what would be the anime that they should watch? So to start, we're going to go over what exactly was our first animes, which I think we were actually already covered in the first section, but go over a little refresher. So your first anime was Spice and Wolf, and we didn't actually hear a lot about that. We were talking more about Death Note, and if you want to hear more about that, like rewind or something, I don't know. So Spice and Wolf, can you tell us a little bit about Spice and Wolf, your first anime?
Yeah, it's a love story between Holo and Lawrence, and Holo is a wolf, so it's also a little bit of fantasy, and it's in medieval times, and the large majority of it is just like their relationship developing, and just it stops in season 2, so you don't see further into their relationship, but
yeah, that's a good point to bring up too. Spice and Wolf is incomplete actually. It never it's a series in Japan, like in text, but when it got translated to anime, it actually only ran for 2 seasons, and they never got their 3rd season, and I don't think it ever is, to be honest, and it breaks my heart because I love that show so much.
But it develops enough to keep you satisfied, I guess.
And yeah, it's still really good, for sure. So as your first anime, would you recommend others start with this anime? Me personally, this sounds pretty crazy. There's romance, wolves, and you didn't mention this, but there's also a lot of economy and like...
No, I don't like that.
Yeah, banking and stuff in it. What do you think as it being your first anime?
I only had it as my first anime because I knew you really liked it, and you kept talking about the main characters so much, so I'm like, I want to see what this is all about. And that's what really drew me in, just the way the characters were, like their personality and their development. But as for a first anime, probably not the best, no.
I think I would agree with you, yeah. But it's good.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's where we're agreeing. My first anime, as already mentioned, was Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and that is also my favorite anime. And I think I covered that exactly how I got into it and everything enough. Do I think it's the best gateway anime? Yes and no at the same time. I think, yeah. As I already mentioned, it's the best. So if you're starting with it, it's all just going to be downhill from there. Like, you're starting from... Like, it's really open to newcomers to anime, I find, but it's just... I feel like it's too good to start with. Like, this is... besides my opinion, this anime is known for being one of the greatest anime of all time. Like, there's countless lists online ranking as number 1 or number 2 or number 3. Like, it's always in like the top 3, and it's really good. I think it's a great gateway anime. I do, if you do choose to do it. But is it my personal pick? No, I think Fullmetal Alchemist should be maybe near the beginning, but not your first. So you get introduced and then you get blown away. So you just don't get completely like mind blown right off the bat. And then there's also the issue, which we didn't bring up, that there's 2 Fullmetal Alchemists actually, and you've seen the first one actually, and I haven't, which is where we differ on that. Yeah, so there's Fullmetal Alchemist, and that was made, and then it got recreated a couple of years later into Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and then both are phenomenal. The original was finished before the manga was finished, so like the anime caught up as the manga was going, so they had to create their own ending for it, and a lot of fans didn't like that. So Brotherhood completely follows the manga, and just since this is the first episode, we're gonna get the terminology out of the way. Manga is like a Japanese style comic book, which is what most anime actually resides from. It's Japanese, so they go from right to left. It's pretty weird, but yeah, there's these graphic novels that are like really popular, and I don't know exact statistic, but I would say maybe like 8 or 9 out of 10 animes originate from a manga. Like, they're really popular, and that's where most of them come from. But getting back to the main topic at hand, what do we think is the best gateway anime? So, what do you think is the best gateway anime? Let's start with you.
I'm gonna go ahead and shock you
Oh.
because I haven't actually watched any, but I'm gonna say, well, why not an anime movie as the first?
Oh, jeez. Showing up the host here. That's actually really smart. I lied then. Oops. My first anime in that case is Spirited Away.
Oh.
I watched that movie, yeah. But that's a really good point. And you care elaborate a bit more?
I feel like that's less pressure and it's less intimidating than getting into a whole series rather than just watching like an hour or so of a movie. And especially if you're new to like the art form, you could see it for like a little bit just to gauge if you like it or not. And different genres of movies, like I'm sure there's funny anime movies.
Oh yeah, there are.
Yeah, so you can kind of see from there.
Ah, well. Alright, you just showed me up
Bam.
in multiple ways, yeah.
But
I agree with you. That actually makes a lot of sense. I want to change my answer now.
But I don't know much about the movies, and I don't know if some of the movies are over the top, because I would say, like, don't do an over the top anime as your first one,
Yeah.
because you might get like weirded out by it a little bit, and don't watch dub. In my opinion.
And don't watch dub?
In my opinion. Oh, sorry, sub.
So we're all beginners here, as you can tell. No. But, yeah, I agree also with the dub comment for if you're first getting into it. For those who don't know, sub is Japanese subtitles. Yeah. Yeah. We gotta clear everything up since this is the first episode, right? So, sub is Japanese subtitles. It has the original Japanese voice acting, and there's just subtitles that you read along. And a lot of hardcore fans prefer this method and will never go to dub ever. And which dub is the American voice acting taking over, or not American, just English voice acting, or whatever country you reside in. Yeah, and at times it's definitely questionable how good the quality is. There's some good, some bad. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, just doing a little shout out, and the original too, Fullmetal Alchemist, have one of the greatest dubs, I think, of all time, and it's so good.
I feel like if you're first getting into it, then you want to be drawn into it, and if you speak English and you want to hear their, the expression in their voices and everything, then it's just easiest. And not reading the subtitles the whole time, because that kind of gets in the way of just movies. Like, I can't imagine how it would be in anime.
Yeah, definitely for your first. I think I totally agree. And a movie is a great idea. My first anime, technically, I'm changing up the script here, is actually Spirited Away. Then that was my first anime experience, and I absolutely love Spirited Away.
That's good to get you into the art too.
Exactly, and Spirited Away
Especially
is gorgeous.
that one, yeah.
Movies, animated movies, since they're shorter, they have a shorter span. They are typically kind of higher budget in the animation quality too. So you're gonna. Spirited Away is gorgeous, and there's other ones like Children Chase Lost Voices. Oh my god, that's one of the best visual experiences I've had. Like, I'm getting over myself a little right now, but Spirited Away, just to give a introduction to it, since this is yours and you haven't actually seen it, but you would. That was my first anime, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about it on your behalf. And I agree. I think this is actually the best way. I almost want to change my answer. Spirited Away. It's about Spirited Away something. It's yeah. It's The first, just for a little tidbit, it's the first and I believe only Japanese animated movie to win an Oscar. It's really good. It completely deserves it. It's about this girl who moves to a new town, and she's moving to her new house and everything, and then on her way there, they take a shortcut, and by doing that, they get transported into this like mystical land, and stuff happens to her parents who are with her, and then it's hard to explain really, but I haven't seen it in a little bit too, but things change in this world. It appears normal at first, but then at nighttime, all these spirits start coming out, and there's ghosts and everything. And basically, this girl is just trying to get her parents and wants to get back home. And she meets all these crazy characters. And this is the weird thing: the whole movie takes place in a bathhouse. Actually, yeah, you're like
That's
squinting
weird.
your
I didn't
eyebrows.
know that.
Yeah, it takes place in a bathhouse, and she has to get a job there to get approval from the head. It's crazy, but it's really good, and the characters are good, and there's a couple little plot lines, and then it's really good. And there's this character named No Face you might have seen on the internet. He's like this black character, almost looks like a hood, but he's like a spirit.
He has that mask, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, yeah, you've seen him all around. He's really popular.
Yeah.
Spirited Away is great. I was picking up things a little bit. I'll get to my personal pick for best gateway anime. I think you might already know this, but in my opinion, I think the best gateway anime is actually Death Note. Yeah, even though it's really on the mystery side, it's definitely has its style. But this is an anime many people use as their gateway anime in high school. This is like the high school anime kind of. Everyone watches Death Note and talks about it.
And it's older.
It's older. It's 2006, so.
Yeah, I remember I saw it on TV when I was a kid, but I didn't give it any attention.
Yeah. I never saw it. I don't know where you're seeing this, but I'm jealous. Death Note's really good. The characters, L and Light, the main protagonist being Light and the antagonist being L, are really cool, and it's interesting to see which one you want to root for. It's not one where you're just necessarily rooting for the protagonist. The antagonist, and I'm saying protagonist and antagonist instead of hero and villain in this case, because it's one of those shows where the hero is kind of like the villain. It's like Code Geass, if anyone else has seen that, or a non-anime example, I would say Breaking Bad, kind of, where the hero's kind of doing wrong things, but like his intentions are there.
Or Dexter. As I previously stated.
Okay, all the Dexter hype in this house, yeah.
Well, because Dexter kills, in his mind, he's only really just killing the bad people of the world, and it doesn't matter if they're gone anyways because they did all these awful things, and that's what Light does.
Yeah. This is true. It's really similar, like it's almost like an anime adaptation of it, yeah. Or which came first, do you know?
I think Dexter is way newer than Death Note.
Okay, so there you go. There's some love to the anime. Dexter copied Death Note. So if you want to see where Dexter originated from, that's where. Also, Death Note has a twin pretty much called Code Geass, and that's like literally, it's so similar how those animes are.
But didn't Death Note come out first?
Death Note did come out first, but in terms of quality, they are fairly, like, you could argue which one you like more. I have no clue. I can't pick right now on the spot which one I like more. Gun to my head, I'd probably say Code Geass? The ending's crazy. But yeah, we don't need to do a plot synopsis really of that, because we described Death Note and it's basically like this exact same thing. There's no Death Note, it's more politics, I guess, and he gets the protagonist gets a superpower, and he uses it to try to change the world. And his ways of doing so are kind of questionable, and maybe considered evil. But yeah. So, that's what we believe to be the best gateway anime. Do you have any honorable mentions you'd like to say? Alright, I'll get back to you. I'll go off a little bit. If you want to go back to the classic roots, Cowboy Bebop is an older anime, a much older anime, And doing that is you'll be able to see where it kind of came from, and that anime is critically acclaimed. It's really, really good. I actually haven't seen it, but this is just what I've heard. I'm definitely gonna try to watch it soon. But if you want to start with it, I think that'd be a pretty good idea. I think Code Geass is worse than Death Note. I think Death Note's more approachable, personally. So Death Note's pretty good. I already said Full Metal Alchemist, the original, and the remake are both phenomenal to start with. Not my personal choice, because everything's going to be downhill.
I almost feel like Full Metal was my first real life anime, just because of like how in depth it goes and all the different aspects. Like Death Note doesn't really have multiple aspects. It's like pretty much strictly mystery, and Spice and Wolf is pretty much only love story. But Full Metal Alchemist has like everything. It's funny, it's still solving things.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a love story, or at least there is in my mind.
Oh, there definitely is.
But they don't touch on love stories that much in the original as much as they do for the Brotherhood, I think you told me before.
It gets pretty good. You haven't finished Brotherhood, so you gotta see that. It's really good. Yeah, even if you look up Full Metal Alchemist, it's labeled as like a comedy, a drama, and action. It's every single genre. So, it's technically the best, if you want to start with it. It's the best in every single way, yeah. I know what you're saying by it's your first real anime, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Just know that you're going into the best first. That's all, pretty much. I'm going to say a couple dishonorable mentions just really quick to wrap the section up. I don't recommend you start with some of the crazier animes. I don't think at all you should start with Spice and Wolf. I think that's a terrible idea. I have no clue why you did that. It's not finished. It's really math driven. Like, it's crazy. It's a love story, not your first and typical first anime. I think that's a terrible choice, but hey, you liked it, so it turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
Evangelion, I think, is probably one of the worst first animes you can do. It's crazy, it's confusing, it takes multiple watch-throughs to fully understand it. It's over the top. You might be a little overwhelmed, I think, when you watch it.
Probably.
If you're gonna do Evangelion, I'd say maybe start with the movies if you're getting into it, because they got remade into movies. But yeah, I actually haven't also seen Evangelion. If you want a plot synopsis, I couldn't tell you. That show confuses the shit out of me. Like, I absolutely don't understand it. I'm watching the remakes right now. I'm waiting for the newest one to come out, so hopefully that's good. The last one in the movie remake section. And yeah, I wouldn't recommend starting off with something like Gurren Lagann. That's the most over-the-top anime I've ever seen.
That was my second one, and I stopped after 3 episodes. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Then this contrast between Spice and Wolf and Gurren Lagann is so different. So different.
It takes off way too quickly.
Yeah. Oh my. It's fast-paced. It's crazy. It's a lot for people who aren't into anime to take in. So, take everything we said into consideration. I hope this will help you decide, if you're a newcomer right now, what anime you want to start with. Full Metal Alchemist, Spirited Away, Death Note, I think, are the main 3 we're kind of talking about.
Yeah.
Stay away from the ones we just mentioned. Thank you, everyone, for watching. That will conclude today's episode. I really hope you listeners out there learned something or found something new, interesting that you can share with your friends, or just got more interested in the anime in general. This is a very underrated art form, and I believe that through this podcast, we will make it more known, and we will be celebrating it more and more. Anime Live aspires to entertain and educate both who are skeptical about anime and those who are die-hard fans. Together, we will shed light on this unknown art form and just have a great time talking about our favorite shows. Thank you for listening. I've been Jesse Bombardier, and I will see you next time.
Every single